For a second, I had my doubts whether it would start because it's been almost 30 days since I started this vehicle. So the battery condition, the auxiliary battery condition is excellent. Unlike the motorcycle you saw earlier or this petrol powered Hyundai Elantra, this vehicle, the Tata Nexon EV electric vehicle, you don't need to worry if this would start. After a month of no usage, this car should just start like normal. Let's go and see if that's true. The car's on. Unlike a petrol car, the first thing that you notice is just the silence. For now, I'm just heading to Shiva's place because he got a new car and it's one of the best out there. That's a potential car to replace my Elantra because the Elantra that you saw, it's due for a big change. The question is, should I get an EV or stick to petrol diesel cars for my family? The only thing you're hearing is the road noise, the tire noise from the road. That's crazy. When you first ask someone to sit in EV, that's the first thing that they would notice, like how super silent these cars are. Some might miss that acceleration and exhaust note, but I don't. There is a slight bit of electric whining noise from the motor, which kind of is compensating for the noise from a petrol or a diesel car, but not comparable. It's just you need to get acclimatized to that sound. See that? That's what I was talking about. Another thing, I don't know if you can notice, but there is a phone style battery bar and the range there, or the range to empty. That's a perfect segue to understanding the terms that are different between a petrol car and an electric car. Unlike in petrol cars, where the fuel efficiency is measured in miles per gallon, kilometers per liter, or liters per kilometers, here it's watt hours per kilometer. All EV batteries across the world are measured in kilowatts. An iPhone 13 battery has a capacity of 12 watts. Whereas this car has 30,000 watts. So you can imagine and understand how long this would take to charge. Roughly around 9 to 10 hours is how much time it would take at home to charge this car. Whereas there are fast chargers, which are in India, you get 25 and 50 kilowatt fast chargers. If it's a 25 kilowatt, it will take 1 hour for 0 to 80%. The car has a range of around 200 kilometers. So the next car purchase for me is a big dilemma because I want to replace the ICE car, but there are tons of options. Especially I drive one EV, and after driving one EV, I know the benefits, the numerous benefits that I get. And this is something you might also be in terms of whenever your car purchase comes into the question, because at that point of time, if it is now, at least in India, the options are less, but in US, in Europe, the number of electric vehicle choices are enormous. So what ticks for an EV, what doesn't? At least from my perspective, hopefully that should help you jot down your choices, and also will help me understand what my criteria when I'm looking for the next big car. The moment you realize how eerily silent this car is, how electric vehicles in general are, the moment you press the pedal, boom, the pull that you get, the acceleration, the torque is instantaneous. You heard the tire squeal, right? Every time you push the pedal on this car, it gives such a smile on my face, man. Like I just get that is bonkers. In this car, it is only 245 Nm. There are electric cars which have 600 Nm, 800 Nm, in fact probably 1000 Nm for the Tesla Roadster, which hasn't released yet. This can do 0 to 100 in 10 seconds. That's kind of slow, but for this class of cars, that's fast. If you drive aggressively, the range would come down. So here we talk range a lot, But in ICE cars, we talk more about efficiency because we get petrol stations or gas stations every nook and corner across the world, in fact, not just here in India. We don't worry about the range. Whereas in electric vehicles, because the number of recharging stations are very few and less frequent, the issue of range comes into the picture. And talking about petrol stations, we need to talk about running costs. It's around 8 to 9 rupees per kilometer. For diesel, it's around 7 rupees per kilometer. For motorcycles, it's around 3 or 4 rupees per kilometer. For electric vehicles, it's 1 rupee per kilometer. When you talk about running costs, electric vehicles make perfect sense. But in terms of ownership, does it make truly a big sense? So when you do the math, you need to run at least 30 to 40,000 kilometers to balance out the ownership cost over a period of, let's say, 3 to 5 years. And if you're concerned about environment, there are tons of videos trying to explain why EVs are not as green as you think. And part of that is true. EVs are, if you're buying these cars for environmental reasons, don't, unless you power these cars like I do with renewable sources of energy. Anyway, time to meet my friend and check out his new car and also understand if that could be my potential next car. Protection, very important for new cars. Ooh, this is so blue. Pakka nuncha? Red shirt, blue car. So we're just getting this car wrapped in paint protection film. I like this blacked out. Nice Alcantara leather seats. We'll do a dedicated review of this car later, but if you have the budget, this is the best option right now in the market for a family car. It's all practical, spacious, fun.
No, exactly. It is the most
feature rich.
It's the most fun car, but considering practical, maybe there are better cars where you can accommodate 7 people, but you won't have that
that's like you won't have the same luxury. That's why I said if you can afford, this is the best.
I mean, this is a driver's car. If you
best
want to drive, this is the car with family.
See that engine note? Sometimes that is important in cars. That's the connection between the vehicle and the road. This sounds smooth and very refined. I said it's loud from outside compared to EV. When you sit inside, hardly anything.
As good as EV.
Can you rev? Oh, rev. You can hear something inside, but that's hardly anything here. So the question. Did you consider EVs? And if not, why?
Oh, EVs are still there in option. Okay.
You already got a car, na? Inka option.
Yeah, probably no. My second car is much older now. I don't know how long that's going to run.
Okay.
So the whole purpose of this big car is for a family trip.
What is important when you're looking for that family car? What
for
made
EV?
You buy Kodiaq instead of some random EV?
No, I want the range. This is the whole purpose of this big car was to do long trips.
Long trips.
Yeah.
So that is
At this time, EVs are not there yet.
So that's your primary criteria.
Yes.
So likewise, like let's say you have enough charging stations. So range is not an issue. Every 1 hour you'll find a charging station and you can charge quickly also. 10 minutes, full charge. Then would like issues like sound, all these would come into the picture for you?
No, sound is not a problem. I'm coming from diesel, so sound is never a problem for me.
So you don't mind being silent?
No, it's a bonus. If it is silent, it's a bonus. But I'm not there only for a silent car.
Okay.
The reason why I would still go for internal combustion, even if it is a long range, is just because they still have those teething issues. They are not there yet in India. We still have like 1 or 2 see that work. So ఇందులో కనిపించేంతనే కనిపిస్తుంటామా
మొత్తం సో జస్ట్ ప్రివ్యూ అనమాట. ఇఫ్ ఐ హ్యావ్ టు పిక్ దిస్ కార్, దిస్ టిక్స్ ఆఫ్ లాట్ ఆఫ్ బాక్సెస్. కంఫర్టబుల్, ప్రాక్టికల్, గుడ్ పర్ఫార్మెన్స్. I don't need to worry about fuel stations at all. The number of EVs in India are anyway limited. So if I have to buy a 40 lakh EV or a car similar to this, I don't have an option. I have to go for
ఎందుకంటే we are still too new.
Let's say there are options, EV options. Range is not a concern. What would make you buy this car over an EV?
Time to charge the car.
Yes, that's a genuine issue. So if you have to pick an ICE over EV, I think the time is a big factor. Sound is a factor. Price can also be a factor, and there are a lot of options. So all these factors kind of tilt your purchase towards a nice car instead of an EV. But for me, I am like super confused because when I have to go on a highway, I'll rent a car. I'll rent a petrol car.
Then the entire logic of car is gone, kada. I'll take Uber when I want to go in city and the
Yes,
topic
so that's a huge
that's
topic.
a different discussion entirely.
Next one.
ఎందుకు ఇటు నుంచి వెళ్ళిపోవచ్చు.